Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. Audible ആണല്ലോ അല്ലേ?
Yes, yes.
ഓക്കെ. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് പെട്ടെന്ന് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാം, കാരണം ഒരുപാട് കാര്യങ്ങൾ പറയാനുണ്ട്, അധികം സമയമില്ലല്ലോ. Let me just start. So whoever is joining, please admit. Basil. Okay. So ഇന്നിപ്പം this is only an introduction to pitching. കാരണം there is a lot of things which we can discuss in the pitching session. So this would be a kind of a curtain raiser. Maybe we can have an advanced or follow-up session at a later stage. Mostly I will talk in English, because whether you like it or not, your pitching session is going to be in English, and probably this would be an experience for you on discussion with your investors. But this is just a definition of startups. So, am I audible to all?
Yes, Sunil.
Okay.
Yes.
So, എന്താണ് startup? What differentiates startup from a typical business? So, a startup is a temporary organization in search of a scalable and repeatable business model. So, which means that you are a kind of in an infancy or in an early stage, where you are still looking for a business model which is more permanent, which can be more stable, etc. So at this stage, you are still looking for a scalable and repeatable business model, and your environment is quite uncertain. There is a possibility of, or a significant possibility of failure. Yes. Okay. So going to the next one, let us talk about pitch content. So with the general principles, I will explain as I go forward, but this is general principles which can be followed, like the identification of need, your solution, market size, what is your business model, innovation and technology, go to market, team, competition, financials, etc. So we'll discuss in detail. So how I'll structure this is, I'll probably talk for about 40 minutes. Then we can have a Q&A session where 20 minutes or so, or slightly more, where we can have all these discussions. But once in a while we can have some interaction. So it is not like a monologue where I can keep on talking and you will keep on listening. So we will have some interaction, but please keep all your major questions towards the end. So here is a reality check. So any professional investor, whether VC or angel or whoever it is, will only invest if you have the right team. I will talk about it, but generally you need to have a right mix of people in the team, and also a good market size, which is good enough for your scaling. So these are two criteria which any professional investor would look at. So keep that in mind. Now, on the pitching side, you can have multiple ways of pitching, but this is a kind of evolution which you can actually keep in mind. That is high concept pitching, elevator pitching, and then finally a pitch deck. So let's see what these things are. This high concept pitch is nothing but a kind of, what can I say, an introduction or an initial introduction to your company. So the thing is, you should be able to pitch in less than 140 characters, or like a Twitter pitch. So make it short and simple and impactful. That is very important. So this is actually used by you not just in terms of pitching, but also in terms of spreading the word about your company. For example, you want to put it in WhatsApp or in a corporate profile or any initial contact with the company. This should be the one. This should be the communication. Okay, so it is like this. For example, Alien is a movie, and Hollywood had a pitch like it is a Jaws in space. So that is uh, a thing. So you can, for example, YouTube is Flickr for video. So you can actually relate it to some existing product, or have a short and simple and impactful sentence in 140 characters. So brief, familiar. I mean, it should be simple and familiar. And so, can you do a Twitter pitch? So think about it. I think I will towards the end we will have a few of the startups, telling us their Twitter pitch. So be prepared. Now, next is elevator pitch. So elevator pitch, I think we were discussing out in some of our earlier discussions in our group. So what are the things required? One is traction. Next is product. Then theme, social proof. This basically captures the attention of the investor, for example. So that is why it is called an elevator pitch. Probably you get 30 seconds how to impress the investor and get their attention so that you can actually provide a regular pitch at the next round of interaction. So you need the basic things, but not too much, not too complicated, but try to have all these aspects in your elevator pitch. So traction, as you all know that any startup has to keep on moving, whether in terms of your product development, or in terms of your connect with your ecosystem, or in terms of your revenue generation or marketing activities, etc., etc. So you have to keep on moving. You can't stand still. So there has to be some traction. So if you have revenue and numbers, then you can show that. If you don't have, you will have to come up with something which shows that you are making progress. That is very, very important. Now, second is a problem about your product. Like what exactly are you solving? What is the problem that you are solving, and how are you solving it? And where is your product? Whether it is in mobile or web or devices like hardware and all that. And what is the status? Like whether it's an idea, prototype, MVP, paying customers, etc. So again, this is something which you need to keep in mind. Now, team, of course, you need to talk or brag about your team. You need to talk about your relevant experience, etc. If you have, otherwise, you need to have some kind of background or competence in certain area which you can leverage. So try to build that competence. Try to show some you may even have to share your CV, because generally we all share our CVs with the investors, and that is a very credible evidence that you can do this work, or you can actually manage this company. So that is very important. Now, social proof, of course, like sales, customers, interviews, publications. So what we are actually doing as part of KSN is in terms of creating some social proof. You can actually, have, what can I say? You have a YouTube set of YouTube videos. You have a YouTube channel. You keep your YouTube videos in the channel. You have Twitter, other social media presence. You produce some blogs. You do some interviews. I know some of our people are already doing quite a good, PR work. So you get publications or events, awards, If you have patents in the relevant area, that is really useful. User testimonials, that is also important. So even if you don't have a paying customer, try to get user testimonials from people who have used your product. And either as a video testimonial or as a word of mouth, then that would be useful. So try to create a social component around it. So pitch progression, like, high concept pitch, like I said about your short pitch, 140, characters, elevator pitch to get people interested in your concept or product or whatever, and of course the deck which can actually give more details. So the pitch deck finally, the pitch deck is probably the third stage. Like you create or spread the word, then you get an elevator pitch, where you create some interest, and then you can send this pitch deck. So pitch deck is a kind of more comprehensive details about your company. So we will focus more on the pitch deck aspects. So it is not a business plan. So again, I think some of the discussions we had in the group, do not send your business plan to the investor, because business plan is for a stable, mature business where there is revenue and customers and post sales activity support and all those things. You may not be at the stage. At least most of us in the group are not at that stage. So don't send the business plan. Now, what is there in the pitch deck? Pitch deck generally it is covering. This is some standard. I'm not saying all these things should be there. Some may be there, some may not be there. But generally, this is what is there. That is cover, mission, summary, theme, problem, solution, tech or innovation, marketing, sales, competition, milestones, conclusion, financing. So what I have noticed, my personal experience has been that most people are looking at two things. One is your technology or innovation, because most of us don't have significant revenues, so they will look at least that they will primarily look at your innovation aspect. If you have good amount of technology in your product, then you can showcase it. If you don't have too much technology, then you showcase your innovation. So that is how it is. So marketing, again, we'll talk about those aspects. Marketing is an area where there will be a lot of focus. Whether you have sales or not is there, but marketing, what are you doing in terms of going to the market? That is very important. Competition is also important. We'll talk about all those things. So cover logo, tagline, contact details, etc. So one thing you can think about is have 30-point font or higher in your pitch deck. So it should be keep your content less. Have more visuals, like pictures. If you can link to some videos, if you can show some graph, if you can show pictures of your team, if you can show testimonials, other numbers like Excel sheet, etc., or link to Excel sheet and all that. That is better than actually showing, or writing too much about it. So mission, of course, you can have a mission. I think there has been a lot of discussion around mission and all that. So you can have this there. Optionally, you can also show some, customer logos, testimonials, etc. But again, that can actually. So what I would say is mission, or you can also say something about us page. You can show an about us page also instead of mission. So about us page will have all those things like the logos of customers. If you have some awards or testimonials, you can show that in the slide. So all that is possible. Sorry, I just got a call. So in some, there is a summary. Summary is your compelling facts. you can actually steal content from your elevator pitch or a summary. Only thing you have, it is good that you show only things you have done, not that you may do in the future. That you can show it in a milestone slide. So in summary, show what you have done. And team, I think we discussed this earlier also, but I will also try. I will show my own deck, so you will get a better idea in terms of how these things. This is a key thing. So what is your problem? This is the most important aspect which I think an investor would look at, whether the problem or the pain point or the need is significant enough for the customers you are targeting. And next thing, whether your solution is having a good fit with the need. So need to solution fit is very important. In the solution, you can actually show the demo. Like for example, you can have a link to a video where you show the your product screens if you already done that, or have some static screenshots. But main thing is don't overcomplicate your solution. Keep it rather simple. If possible, do it in one slide. If there is some technology and all that, you can show it as one slide for solution, one slide for the technology innovation aspect. So technology, again, technology, couple of points, are you using some framework or something which is licensed or open source? Is there any license fee involved? Are you using somebody's IP? So all these legal aspects you need to take care, because at some point in time this would become important, because there will be due diligence, legal due diligence, and all those things. So especially if you are targeting some external like Europe or US or other countries, then your patent and whether you are using somebody's patent or you have your own patent, all those aspects will come into play. Okay, so on the marketing, as I said, it is very important aspect which you need to talk about. So if you haven't launched, I think most of our startups haven't done, or haven't brought a product to the market. So how will you show this? So what you have to do is, if you have not launched, then you discuss the plan to acquire your customers. Like you can talk about your GTM, your go-to-market strategy. Have you done any kind of pilots or POCs in customer locations? What is your cost of customer acquisition? This is very important, like customer acquisition cost. That is where your unit economics will come into play. I had asked you to have a look at the financial model. So unit economics will come from a financial model. Whether you have a product in the market, then you can use the actual numbers. If you don't have a product in the market, you can actually have some estimates. It may not be very accurate, but you can use those data better than having totally no grounding. So that is where you can use your financial model for unit economics. I will talk about unit economics later also, but this is where you require this. Okay, so but if you have launched, then you can look at again cost of customer acquisition, then lifetime value of the customer, all those things. So I will also show you a slide on this. So sales obviously as you move forward now, it may not be very important in your MVP stage or your seed funding stage, but it becomes more and more important in your P-series or Series A and going forward. So if you are in the initial stages, you can manage with things like business model canvas and all that, which we have already discussed. So where you can talk about your GTM and your revenue model and your business model and all those things. So that will give your investors some comfort in terms of whether you understand this process and whether you are going the right direction. So since you don't have any paying customers, your business model canvas can give some kind of explanation in terms of what you are doing to get those customers. Okay. Now, show numbers, logos, all those things. Sales. Once you have sales, then definitely you have all those details. You have customer names where even you can provide case studies of customers, selected customers with their permission. You can show the numbers, logos, testimonials, all those things. And that would be the most impactful, statement you can make as a startup initially. The next stage you will have, scaling and all this top line, bottom line, and all that. But initially, early customers is the most important statement you can make. Now, CAC versus LTV. So CAC is your customer acquisition cost, LTV is the customer lifetime value. You can actually look up all these things, but customer acquisition cost you can get from the financial template I shared, at least in some random, in some rough numbers. And once you have customers, you can actually get more accurate customer acquisition cost. And lifetime value, again, you can project a lifetime value, but it has to be at least 3 times the CAC, customer acquisition cost, to have a good, impact. Again, B2C, especially B2C, startups, you need to also look at the churn rate, because you will say I have got 100 paying customers, or somebody has downloaded, somebody has subscribed, but are they going to stay there for some time, or will they just drop out? They will do some trial and they will drop out. Then you have a churn, you have a large churn. So if, let's say 90% of your customers drop out after, let's say 1 month, then that may be a red signal to your investors that you are not making a progress. So these are areas where you need to keep in mind, your churn rate and your customer lifetime value and all that. Now, this is very important. I think some of you would have seen this. This is the total available market, the TAM, SAM, so on. So most of the pitch decks, you will see this. So just to give you a quick explanation, TAM is your total available market, and SAM is your serviceable available market. For example, you have your product or your app running in Android, then people using iPhone may not be your target market. You understand? So if you have certain constraints within which you are based on your technology or your positioning or your access, etc., then that would be your serviceable available market, which will be smaller than your TAM. Now there is a SOM also, which is your actual target market for the next 2-3 years. Even if you have, let's say, 10 million potential customers as SAM, you may only be able to target, let's say, 2 million out of them, because of your financial constraints, your reach, your lack of skilled people, etc., etc. So many things, regulatory issues, etc. So SOM is again smaller than SAM. So this is like TAM, SAM, SOM. So SOM is something you will be targeting right away. Business model canvas we had discussed in detail previously. So this would actually help you in the, getting an overall view, a holistic view of your product, and try to provide a visibility to your investors before you can provide revenues, as I said earlier. Competition, important, because I have seen that many of you are in the e-commerce segment. So are there other people who are in the same segment? Are there others who can come into the same segment? What is your unfair advantage in this competitive landscape? All those things you have to take care. You have to explain what kind of market you are in. Is it an existing market? Is it a resegmented market? Is it in a new market, low market, etc. So this would be a good, approach, like trying to position your company. This is This black one is your company, rest are your competitors. So how do you position your company in the existing market? Are you better in terms of quality? Are you better in terms of your pricing? Is your product competitively priced? All those things. So how you can position your company vis-a-vis your competitors and how you are better. What is your secret sauce, so to say? So that is something which will attract your investors. And this is also important. You can have a comparison metrics. In fact, we have done one comparison metrics for us ourselves. So how do you compare with your competitors in the same segment or in the same kind of market? Or targeting the same kind of customers. So if you can put a good comparison metrics or a competitor metrics, that would be an easy way of identifying your plus points or advantages in comparison with your competitors. Milestones. I think I talked about it earlier. So you need to have a set of milestones, like what you will achieve in the next 3 months, next 6 months, in the next 1 year, so that investors know what is your burn rate. Burn rate is nothing but your expenses, like monthly expenses or quarterly expenses, and based on that, they can also plan for investment, and you can also plan for your next 6 months or 1 year financials. Like you need money to go forward. So based on your projections only, they are going to give you money. So very important that you have a proper burn rate. Again, this can be found from your financial model. So what is the burn rate for the next 12 months or 16 months? So since most of us are in the seed stage, there are a few things which you can think about. This whatever money is coming in the seed stage is actually going towards testing and validating some of the hypotheses that you have made in terms of your problem solution fit and your market fit and all that, product market fit and all that. So, and the customer and the investors know this, that you are not going to make immediate, you may not make much revenue in the initial stage, and you may not make any profit in the initial stage. So they are aware of this. So what you are doing, or rather what you should be doing, is you should be testing these hypotheses, what you have provided initially, and making sure that at least many of them work. If some of them don't work, then you have to pivot. You have to change your model. You have to change your feature list, etc., etc. Your product may require some changes. So your GTM may require some changes. So based on your hypothesis, you need to validate them, and that is where this money is going to be used, seed stage funding. So this is a set of experiments what we will be doing. Okay. So this is about the slide, the pitch deck conclusion. You can have a vision statement and all that, or you can have a modified version summary. So that is not very important in the scheme of things. No financing. Financing, this is where you ask, like, how much money are you raising in this round, and what are you offering? So when you're saying, I need, let's say, 50 lakhs funding, then how much dilution are you going to do? What is the percentage that you are offering to the investors? So you will have to explain that in terms of for 50 lakhs, we are prepared to sell up to, let's say, 6% or 10% of your equity. And this would be a negotiated process. So you can have, in fact, you can have different asks and give to different investors also. Now I will provide a few tips and all that. Primarily, I always talked about narrating a story. So your product, your company is a story, and you should be good in narrating that story. And only you can be good in narrating the story. Nobody else can. So you should know all these things. Like this it's rather weird, but you should know that you get support from some unexpected places, like supernatural. Then you get guardians like angel investors, etc., etc., other help, mentors, You may also have some crash, like an abyss, and some rebirth, some pivot, and all that. You may transform, and finally you come back to a certain level. So this is the journey that all of us are going through, and it is a kind of story. It is a very interesting story. So you have to tell a story. That is what you have to tell. Like, for example, this is one story. We have a mission and a team that is taking us there. Why? Because we have discovered a large problem and we have solved it with a product which has this amazing technology. We are going to the market and selling it to the customers. And these are the advantages of the competition, that competition metrics or comparison metrics. In particular, we are working towards milestones. Again, we talked about milestones. And final statement is in terms of financing, because this is going to be a great investment opportunity for you, who is the investor. So this is how your storyline or script should work. And this is the message it should convey. Okay. Now, other tips about your pitches. Come to the point. Don't be too boring, and try to come up with some surprises, something remarkable, like some video or some unexpected data or some gems which would be surprising. Don't beat around the bush. Use photos and visuals and videos and multimedia and all that. Use less text, high contrast, etc. Now keep it simple. You need to have some stickiness. Like you need to retain the interest of the investor throughout your quiz deck. So make it simple. Have some surprise. Don't make them think too much. That is important, because once they think about too deep into your product, then obviously there will be a lot of gaps. So let us not have too much thinking going at this stage. Build a rapport, then have some personal rapport, emotional connect, etc. With the investors. Again, tell a story or tell some instances, tell some customer, pain, etc., etc. So that is how you can make it interesting. So this is the hidden fact. Most of us think that you come up with great product, great data to substantiate, etc. But fundamentally, how you present it is going to be the most important thing. This is one study. You may or may not agree with this, but things like your facial expression, your voice, your intonation, your body language, etc. during the speech is more important than what you may say. Even I have faced such a situation. So you have to be very careful in terms of how you present, your confidence level, your communication skills, your facial expression, your body language if you are doing in a physical presentation, etc. And if you are making a physical presentation, have a tree posture with your feet solidly planted on the ground, hands to the side, never closed. Don't move awkward movements. Don't be defensive, be assertive, and step forward, not backwards. And you should make eye contact with the people in the group, in the investor community, and distribute that eye contact. Don't talk to one person. If there are 5 people, you distribute your eye contact with all the 5 people. And don't be apologetic. Be positive and enthusiastic. Be concrete. Slightly overstate. Don't have too much hype. That is my feeling. If you keep on hyping, then sometimes you may get caught. But don't understate also. Have slight overstating. That is good. And adjectives, superlatives, etc. should be used. And most important thing is you have to practice your pitch many times. I would have done at least 50 times. That is, keep changing it, keep practicing it, making pitches. So unless you keep on practicing, you will not get the extent of the kind of questions that will come, and be prepared with the answers, and keep the time, finish slightly early, etc. So, and do not rush through, etc. So, and have dramatic process. So this is all about practice. So keep on practicing your pitch. Try to improve it. Do a lot of iterations. Every time you do a pitch, you come back and check your pitch and see what things you have missed. Like for example, you may have faced an unexpected question. So did you cover that, or have you prepared for that? All that has to be done. So it is an iterative process. And once you do 10 or 15 pitches, you will be able to make it much more better than where you started. So I think that is all I have now. So we can have questions.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Anshan Aji from a Trivandrum-based startup called D-Lab Research. So I have a question. Shall I?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Sir, actually, our company, we have a little bit of a typical problem. What happens is we are an AML tech company. So problem is we are currently working on multiple products. There are 3 different products which has its own market and its own dynamic. So that we were a little confused on how to project ourselves when we have 3 different products in 3 different domains, because the market sizing, everything will be different for each.
I understand. So yeah, I have faced a similar problem myself, because ours is a platform. We have multiple products. So you actually have the risk of spreading yourself too thin. That is a problem. Like you may be. How many people are there in your team?
We are a team of 12 people.
12 people. Okay. So for a team of 12 people, 2-3 products may be too much. One in terms of your product development, and number 2 in terms of go to the market, strategy, etc. Meeting customers, if they are quite diverse kind of products, use cases, etc. So targeting all these use cases, all this will be a problem. That is what you're saying, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So what I think my suggestion would be that you focus on one or 2 use cases where there is maximum possibility of revenue generation. So we call it the low hanging fruit. So you should initially target the low hanging fruit, where you have the maximum possibility of success. So because ultimately it will be all determined by your ability to generate top line and bottom line. You have to generate revenue. You have to generate profit. So if whether you get it from 3 different products, or you get it from one product, it doesn't matter much to the customer. Sorry, no, to the investor. If you can do one product well, that would be actually better from an investor perspective. So from a pitch deck perspective, my suggestion would be that you focus on one use case and create a proper customer profile. I can probably share with you some details, but offline. But you need to create a proper ideal customer profile, and you need to match their requirements with your product. What you are offering. That is your feature list with their needs or their pain points. So if you can do that, then that would give you some revenues, if not today, maybe in the next quarter or next 6 months. So that is what we should focus
on. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sunil sir, you told us that you would show your own pitch deck. Can we do that? I think time is running out, and I would like to see that.
Sure, I'll do that. Any other questions before I go there?
Sir. Hello.
Right.
എൻ്റെ പേര് ശ്രീഹരി സർ. ലൈക്ക് എനിക്ക് ചോദിക്കാനുള്ളത്, ഇതിപ്പോ ഈ മാർക്കറ്റ് പൊട്ടൻഷ്യൽ ഇല്ലേ, ഇതിപ്പോ എങ്ങനെയാ കാൽക്കുലേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുക? അതിന് പെർട്ടിക്കുലർ ഫോർമുല അങ്ങനെ വല്ലതും ഉണ്ടോ? നമ്മള് മാർക്കറ്റ് പൊട്ടൻഷ്യൽ എസ്റ്റിമേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ?
മാർക്കറ്റ് പൊട്ടൻഷ്യൽ എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ഇതിനകത്ത് 2-3 കാര്യങ്ങളുണ്ട്. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ, ടാം, സാംസോൺ. അപ്പൊ അതിൽ ഏതിനെ കുറിച്ചാണ്? ടാമിനെ കുറിച്ചായിരിക്കും പറയുന്നത്. ടാം എന്ന് പറയുന്നതാണ് ടോട്ടൽ അഡ്രസബിൾ മാർക്കറ്റ്. അപ്പോൾ ടോട്ടൽ
ആ.
അഡ്രസബിൾ മാർക്കറ്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നിങ്ങളുടെ പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് എന്താണ്?
ഇപ്പോ ഞങ്ങളുടെ വന്ന ഒരു C50 ഡിവൈസ് ആണ് ഈ ഫിഷർമെൻസിന് വേണ്ടി. അപ്പോ
ഡിവൈസ് ആണ്
C50 ഡിവൈസ്
C50.
ലൈക്ക് ഒരു ടൈപ്പ് ഓഫ് കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ ആസ് വെൽ ആസ് അതിൽ നമ്മൾ അലർട്ട് സിഗ്നൽ കൊടുക്കുന്ന മാതിരി ഒരു ഡിവൈസ്.
ഓക്കെ.
അപ്പോ നമുക്ക് ഒരു 20 ലക്ഷം ഫിഷർമെൻസ് ഉണ്ടെന്ന് വെച്ചോളൂ സാർ. അപ്പോൾ 10,000 റുപ്പീസിനാണ് നമ്മൾ ഇത് MRP ലൈക്ക് ടോട്ടൽ പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് നമ്മൾ കൊടുക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോ എന്താണ് ഇതിന്റെ ഒരു മാർക്കറ്റ് പൊട്ടൻഷ്യൽ എങ്ങനെ കാൽക്കുലേറ്റ് ചെയ്യും സാർ?
അതെ, അപ്പൊ 20 ലക്ഷം ഫിഷർമെൻ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ 20 ലക്ഷം ബോട്ട് കാണില്ല. അതായത് യു വിൽ ഫിറ്റ് വൺ ഡിവൈസ് ഓൺലി ഇൻ എ ബോട്ട്, റൈറ്റ്? ഓർ ഇസ് ഇറ്റ് വിത്ത് ഇൻഡിവിജ്വൽ?
ഇല്ല സർ, 4-5 പേര്. അപ്പൊ ഞങ്ങള് 4 ലക്ഷം ആണ് കാൽക്കുലേറ്റ് ചെയ്തത്. അപ്പോ
that is your tab. But you may not be able to target all those 4 lakh immediately. അതിൽ ചിലപ്പം എന്തെങ്കിലും ഇപ്പൊ ചെറിയ ഫിഷ് ഇത് ബോട്ടുകൾ കാണും. ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ ഇപ്പം എന്താ ഈ കട്ടമരോ അങ്ങനത്തെ ബോട്ടുകളൊക്കെ ഇല്ലേ, ചെറിയതുണ്ടാവും. മെക്കനൈസ്ഡ് ബോട്ടുകൾ കാണും. ഒരു പെർട്ടിക്കുലർ ലെവൽ ഓഫ് ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് ഉള്ള ബോട്ടുകളിൽ മാത്രമേ നിങ്ങളുടെ പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് വാങ്ങാൻ ചാൻസ് ഉള്ളൂ.
അല്ല, മാക്സിമം മാർക്കറ്റ് പൊട്ടൻഷ്യൽ എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോ ഈ ഫാക്ടേഴ്സിനെ റെഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യണോ സാർ? നമ്മള്
reduce it. 4 lakhs is your TAM. Okay. Out of this 4 lakhs, you may have, let's say, 1 lakh ocean-going vessels, so to say. That is where you may have more potential, rather than the inland fisheries. Inland fisheries and deep fish, deep trawlers and കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഉണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ ട്രോളേഴ്സിൽ പോകുന്നവർക്കായിരിക്കും നിങ്ങളുടെ ഇതുകൊണ്ട് കൂടുതൽ പ്രയോജനം ചെയ്യുക. But you have to see how many are the trawlers. So they may be your market before the inland fisheries becomes your market. So that would be your, let's say, song.
അത് അപ്പോ അതിന്റെ എസ്റ്റിമേറ്റ് ഇടുമ്പോ ലൈക്ക് ഇപ്പൊ ടോട്ടൽ നമ്പർ ഓഫ് ഡീപ് സീ ഫിഷിംഗ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ആൾക്കാരുടെ മാത്രം ഇട്ടാൽ മതിയാവും അല്ലേ സാർ? ലൈക്ക് ടോട്ടൽ നമ്പർ ഇട്ടാ പോരെ? ലൈക്ക് ടോട്ടൽ നമ്പർ ഇൻടു ആ വാല്യൂ ഇട്ടാ പോരെ?
എല്ലാം കാണിക്കണം. നിങ്ങൾ ടാർഗറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്, യു മേ ടാർഗറ്റ് ദ സോം പാർട്ട് ഫസ്റ്റ്. നിങ്ങളുടെ ഇമീഡിയറ്റ് 2-3 years ടാർഗറ്റ് വിൽ ബി യുവർ സോം, ബട്ട് യു ഹാവ് ടു ഷോ ദ ടൈം ഓൾസോ, ബിക്കോസ് ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് യുവർ അൾട്ടിമേറ്റ് ദിസ്. മേ ബി അതിൻ്റെ അകത്ത് അതിൻ്റെ അകത്ത് ഒരു സാമും കൂടി വരും, അതായത് ഓൾ മെക്കനൈസ്ഡ് ബോട്ട്സ്. നൗ ദ ട്രോളേഴ്സ് വിൽ ബി യുവർ സാം. അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡ്? സാം ഈസ് ഓൾറെഡി.
അപ്പൊ നമ്മള് ഈ ഇത്ര നമ്പർ ഓഫ് ആൾക്കാരുണ്ട്, അതിൽ ഇത്ര നമ്പർ ഓഫ് പൊട്ടൻഷ്യൽ യൂസേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് ഇത്ര പ്രൊഡക്റ്റ് വിറ്റാൽ ഇത്ര കിട്ടും എന്ന രീതിക്ക് നമ്മള് ഫുൾ ആയിട്ട് കാണിക്കണം അല്ലേ നമ്മള്?
അതിന്റെ നിങ്ങളുടെ കോസ്റ്റ് സ്ട്രക്ചറും കൂടി നോക്കണം. അതാണ് ഞാൻ യൂണിറ്റ് ഇക്കണോമിക്സിനെ കുറിച്ച് പറഞ്ഞു. അപ്പൊ നിങ്ങളുടെ കോസ്റ്റ് സ്ട്രക്ചർ എങ്ങനെയാണ്? നിങ്ങൾ ഹാർഡ്വെയർ പ്ലസ് സോഫ്റ്റ്വെയർ പ്ലസ് യുവർ സപ്പോർട്ട് പ്ലസ് ഓൾ ദോസ് തിങ്സ്, R&D പ്ലസ്
അല്ല, നമ്മുടെ അവിടെ പ്രോഫിറ്റ് നമ്മൾ കാണിക്കണോ സാർ? ഇപ്പൊ ഒരു 10,000 ആണ് പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ, ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ 2,000 പ്രോഫിറ്റ് എടുക്കുന്നു എന്ന് കരുതുകയാണെങ്കിൽ, നമ്മൾ 2,000 ഒരു പ്രൊഡക്റ്റിന് പ്രോഫിറ്റ് എടുക്കുന്നു. അപ്പൊ ഒരു പ്രോഫിറ്റ് മാർജിൻ ഇത്ര വരും എന്ന് കാണിക്കണം.
അതല്ലേ നിങ്ങളുടെ ഗ്രോത്ത്. ഇപ്പൊ നിങ്ങളുടെ ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റർ നിങ്ങളെ ഫണ്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നില്ലെങ്കിൽ, how will you fund yourself?
സാർ, ശ്രീഹരിയുടെ ഡൗട്ട് എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നത് എന്താ വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാല്, നമ്മുടെ മാർക്കറ്റ് പൊട്ടൻഷ്യൽ കാണിക്കുന്നിടത്ത് പ്രോഫിറ്റ് കാണിക്കണമെന്നുള്ളതാണ് എന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. അവിടെ കാണിക്കുന്നത്
അവിടെ വേണ്ട. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത് ജനറലി ഇൻ എ പിച്ച് ടെക്, ഇപ്പൊ നിങ്ങൾ ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ ഇഫ് യു ആർ ഷോയിങ് സം, again I will show you my this thing.
അപ്പൊ കൂടുതൽ ക്ലാരിറ്റി വരും.
ഓക്കേ സർ. സർ, പിന്നെ ഇപ്പോ ഈ ബിസിനസ് ടു ഗവൺമെന്റ് നമ്മൾ കൊടുക്കില്ലേ? ഇതിപ്പോ ഗവൺമെന്റ് ത്രൂ ആണ് നമ്മളെ മാർക്കറ്റ് പ്രൊഡക്റ്റ് ചെയ്യണമെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ, ലൈക്ക് മോസ്റ്റ്ലി ഇത് എങ്ങനെയാ സർ പിച്ച് ചെയ്യുക? ലൈക്ക് ഇപ്പോ ഗവൺമെന്റ് ഏജൻസീസിനൊക്കെ ലൈക്ക് നമ്മുടെ ടാർഗറ്റ് ഇൻവെസ്റ്റർ
കോർപ്പറേറ്റീവ്സ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇപ്പൊ ഫിഷർമെൻസ് കോർപ്പറേറ്റീവ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഫിഷർമെൻസിന്റെ ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻ ഒക്കെ ഇല്ലേ, അതുവഴിയൊക്കെ പോകേണ്ടി വരും. ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ യു വിൽ ഹാവ് ടു ഐഡന്റിഫൈ സം ഇതിന്റെയൊക്കെ ലീഡർഷിപ്പ് ഉള്ള ആളുകൾ. ഇപ്പം ഫ്രഷ് ടു ഹോം ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, ഫ്രഷ് ടു ഹോം
that comes in the marketing part.
Correct.
That comes in marketing strategy part.
Correct. You have to target the right kind of persons. Probably that is slightly outside.
Not through this kind of pitching. This is for the investors.
So maybe we can have an offline discussion, Srihari. It will take up.
അല്ല ജസ്റ്റ് ഡൗട്ട് ചോദിച്ചതല്ലേ.
ശ്രീഹരി, ഞാൻ ശ്രീഹരിനെ ഡിമോട്ടിവേറ്റ് ചെയ്തതല്ല, ഞാൻ അതിനെ ഡിഫറൻഷിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് പറഞ്ഞാണ്. ശ്രീഹരി, യു ക്യാരി ഓൺ.
അല്ലേ സാർ, പിച്ച് ഡെക്ക് മാത്രമല്ല നമ്മൾ ഇത് ചോദിച്ചത്. ലൈക്ക് സാറിനോട് ഇതിപ്പോ എങ്ങനെ ചാനലൈസ് ചെയ്യണം എന്ന് ഒരു ഐഡിയ ചോദിച്ചെന്നേ ഉള്ളൂ.
അല്ല, ഞാൻ പറയുന്നത് നമ്മളിപ്പോ കൂടുതലും പിച്ച് ഡെക്ക് റിലേറ്റഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഡിസ്കഷൻ ആണല്ലോ ചെയ്യുന്നത്.
അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എന്താ വെച്ചാൽ നമ്മുടെ ഡിസ്കഷൻ വളരെ ഇലാബറേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് പോകും. നമ്മൾ
ഞാൻ ഓഫ്ലൈൻ ആയിട്ട് കണക്ട് ചെയ്തോളാം.
ഓക്കെ, സുനിൽ സാർ, ശ്രീഹരിയുടെ കാരണം ആ ഒരു സുനിൽ സാർ എബ്രഹാം ആണ് ആ സുനിൽ ശ്രീഹരിയുടെ ഒരു ഡൗട്ടിന് ഒരു ക്ലാരിറ്റി കാരണം ഞാൻ ശ്രീഹരിയായിട്ട് ഓൾറെഡി സംസാരിച്ചായിരുന്നു. അപ്പം അത് വെച്ചിട്ട് ഒരു ക്ലാരിറ്റി ശ്രീഹരി നേരത്തെ ചോദിച്ച ടാം അതിന്റെ അകത്തൊരു ഇത് ശ്രീഹരി ആക്ച്വലി നോക്കുമ്പോൾ ഈ ടാം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഓവറോൾ ഇപ്പം നമ്മളുടെ, അതായത് ശ്രീഹരിയുടെ പ്രൊഡക്റ്റ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഈ ഷിപ്പ് നാവിഗേഷനകത്ത് വരുന്നതാണ്. അപ്പം അത് ഫിക്സ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്ന വെസൽസ് എല്ലാം ശ്രീഹരിയുടെ ടാമിനകത്ത് വരുന്നതാണ്. ശ്രീഹരി ചെയ്യേണ്ടത് ഫിഷർമെൻസിനെ അല്ല കോൺസെൻട്രേറ്റ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്, ഹൗ മെനി അതായത് നിങ്ങളുടെ പ്രൊഡക്റ്റ് വെക്കാൻ ഫിക്സ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്ന ട്രോളേഴ്സ് എത്ര എണ്ണം ഉണ്ട്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആ ഫിഷർ ബോട്ട് എത്ര എണ്ണം ഉണ്ട്, അത് കാൽക്കുലേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാം. അതിപ്പം ഇന്ത്യയിൽ ഒരു വലിയ നമ്പർ കാണും. ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ ഇപ്പം വേറൊരു കൺട്രി എടുക്കുമ്പോൾ വേറൊരു നമ്പർ ആയിരിക്കും, അത് വ്യത്യാസം വരും. അതിനെ മൾട്ടിപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യുക നിങ്ങളുടെ പ്രൊഡക്റ്റുമായിട്ട്. അതാണ് ആ ഒരു നമ്പറാണ്, ഫിഷർമാൻ അല്ല, ഫിഷർ ബോട്ട്സിന്റെ നമ്പറാണ് നിങ്ങളുടെ ടോട്ടൽ ടാം. ആൻഡ് സാം എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ സർവീസബിൾ അവൈലബിൾ മാർക്കറ്റ് എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ഇപ്പൊ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ആ ടാം എല്ലാ ഫിഷർ ബോട്ട്സിനെയും നിങ്ങൾക്ക് സർവീസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല, നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കാറ്റർ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. അപ്പൊ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ചിലപ്പോൾ ആദ്യം ഇനീഷ്യൽ ടൈമിൽ ചിലപ്പോൾ ഏഷ്യ അല്ലെ ആ രീതിയിൽ, അപ്പം അതിനകത്ത് തന്നെ വ്യത്യാസം വരും. ഇപ്പൊ എല്ലാ ഫിഷർ ട്രോളീസും നമുക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. അപ്പൊ അത് വരുമ്പോൾ ടാം അതിൽ നിന്ന് സാം വരുമ്പോൾ അതിൽ കുറവായിരിക്കും, ടാമിനേക്കാളും കുറവായിരിക്കും നമ്പർ. ആൻഡ് സോം വരുമ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ചിലപ്പോൾ ഇനീഷ്യൽ ടൈം 2 or 3 yearsനകത്ത് ഇന്ത്യ അല്ലെ ആ ഒരു ഏഷ്യൻ ഈ മാർക്കറ്റ് ആയിരിക്കും നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ക്യാപ്ചർ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുക. അപ്പൊ അതിലും ചില വ്യത്യാസങ്ങൾ വരും. ചിലപ്പം എല്ലാവരും ഈ പറയുന്ന ഹൈലി എഡ്യൂക്കേറ്റഡ് ആകണം എന്നൊന്നുമില്ല. പിന്നെ വലിയ ട്രോളേഴ്സ് ഒന്നും നമ്മളുടെ പ്രൊഡക്റ്റ് വെക്കില്ല. നമ്മളുടെ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഒരു എൻട്രി ലെവൽ അല്ല, ഈ കട്ടമരം അല്ലെ ഇതല്ലാത്ത.
അതായത് ഐ തിങ്ക് we'll have this discussion offline because
okay sure sir sure തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും. Okay sir,
any other questions?
ഹലോ, എനിക്കൊരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അതായത് സംടൈംസ് നമുക്ക് ആ ഒരു ഡേറ്റ എടുക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ലായിരിക്കും, അത് എവിടെയെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടാവുമോ? ഡേറ്റ
സോറി, അതിന്റെ ശബ്ദം കുറച്ച് ബ്രേക്ക് ആയി.
ഓക്കെ, കേൾക്കാമോ?
കേൾക്കാം.
ചില സമയത്ത് നമുക്ക് ടോട്ടൽ അഡ്രസ്സബിൾ മാർക്കറ്റ് കറക്റ്റ് ഡേറ്റ എവിടെ കിട്ടത്തില്ല എന്ന് വരാം. ഇപ്പം ഇപ്പോ
ഒരു കേസ് പറയും.
ഓക്കെ, ഇപ്പൊ ഞാൻ ഒരു ഓൺലൈൻ ബിസിനസ് ചെയ്യുന്നവരുടെ ഡേറ്റ എടുക്കാനായിട്ട് നോക്കും. ഓൺലൈൻ ഇപ്പം വീട്ടിലിരുന്ന് ഫേസ്ബുക്ക് മാർക്കറ്റ് പ്ലേസ്. ഇപ്പം ഞാൻ ഇപ്പൊ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഷോപ്പിഫൈ പോലത്തെ ഒരു കൺസെപ്റ്റ് ആണ്. അപ്പൊ അതിന്റെ അകത്ത് കുറച്ച് വാല്യൂ അഡീഷൻ കൊണ്ടുവരുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പം അത് ഇപ്പം വീട്ടിൽ ഇരുന്ന് സെയിൽ നടത്തുന്നവർക്ക് അവരുടേതായ ഒരു പർട്ടിക്കുലർ ബ്രാൻഡിൽ ഒരു വെബ്സൈറ്റ്, അവർക്കെല്ലാം സെയിൽ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്ന ഒരു പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോം. അപ്പം അതിന്റെ ഒരു
അവൈലബിൾ ആയിരിക്കും. നമുക്ക് അതിന്റെ ഡേറ്റ അവൈലബിൾ ആയിരിക്കും. കാരണം ഇപ്പൊ യു മേ ഹാവ് ടു ലുക്ക് അറ്റ് തിങ്സ് ലൈക്ക് ആമസോണിൽ എത്ര ആളുകൾ ലിസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടെന്ന് നോക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല. കണക്ക് എണ്ണി നോക്കല്ല. ഡേറ്റ അവൈലബിൾ ഇൻ
ബിസിനസ് അവിടെ ഉണ്ട്. ആമസോണിന്റെ എത്ര ബിസിനസ് ഉണ്ട്, അതുപോലത്തെ
ആമസോൺ പ്ലസ് ഫ്ലിപ്കാർട്ട് കൊടുക്കാം.
അത് തന്നെ ഒരു മേജർ ഡേറ്റ ആണ്.
ആ ഡേറ്റ പബ്ലിക്കലി നമ്പേഴ്സ് ആർ അവൈലബിൾ പബ്ലിക്കലി.
ശരി ശരി.
Any other questions?
സാറിന്റെ പിച്ച് ഡെക്കിലേക്ക് പോകാൻ സാർ. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് കഴിയുമ്പോൾ ആൾക്കാർക്ക് കുറച്ചുകൂടെ ക്ലാരിറ്റി വരും.
Okay, sure.
ഹലോ,
ഞാൻ പിച്ച് ടെക്കിലേക്ക് പോകുന്നതിന് മുമ്പ് ഒന്ന് രണ്ട് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ചോദിച്ചിരുന്നു, അത് ഞാൻ പെട്ടെന്നൊന്ന് ആൻസർ ചെയ്യാം. അതായത് somebody was asking whether few tips for pitch deck preparation for startups എന്താണ് in pilot project stage. അത് ഐഡിയേഷൻ സ്റ്റേജിലാണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. ഐഡിയേഷൻ സ്റ്റേജിലാണ് ചോദിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ ഐഡിയേഷൻ സ്റ്റേജിൽ സാധാരണ പിച്ച് ഡെക്ക് പ്രിപ്പയർ ചെയ്യുക അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇൻവെസ്റ്ററെ കൊണ്ടുവരിക എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഡിഫിക്കൽട്ട് ആണെന്നാണ് എൻ്റെ ഒരു അഭിപ്രായം. കാരണം അറ്റ് ദ സ്റ്റേജ് യു ആർ ജസ്റ്റ് ഹാവിംഗ് എൻ ഐഡിയ, യു ഹാവ് നോട്ട് പ്രൊഡ്യൂസ്ഡ് എനി product, there is no MVP. So we are mostly talking about situation where you have an MVP or at least you are close to an MVP. So ideation stage it will be difficult and the opinion. I think it is Ron Joseph who asked that question. Another question was again this. Answer questions. ബിബിനാണ് ചോദിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത്. ബിബിൻ ചോദിച്ചത്, ബിബിൻ ആ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഒന്നുകൂടി എന്താണെന്ന് എനിക്ക് ക്ലിയർ അല്ല. ബിബിൻ ഉണ്ടോ?
ഉണ്ട്. കേൾക്കാവോ?
കേൾക്കാം.
സാർ, ഞാൻ ചോദിച്ചത് ഇപ്പം നമ്മുടെ ഒരു ഐഡിയ അതൊരു കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് ആണെങ്കിൽ നമ്മൾ പാനൽ ഓഫ് ഇൻവെസ്റ്റേഴ്സിനോട് പിച്ച് ചെയ്യുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് ഞാനിത് ചോദിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. അപ്പം വന്നൊരു പ്രതികരണം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ വൈ ദിസ് കോൺസെപ്റ്റ്, വൈ ദിസ് ഐഡിയ എന്ന് ചോദിക്കാം. അപ്പം അതിൻ്റെ ഉത്തരവ് ഞാൻ കൊടുത്തപ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് നമുക്ക് അത്രയും ക്ലിയർ ആയിട്ട് നമുക്ക് പറയാൻ പറ്റില്ല. ബിക്കോസ് ഇറ്റ്സ് എ കോൺസെപ്റ്റ്, വി ആർ ജസ്റ്റ് ഇറ്റ്സ് എ പ്രോബബിലിറ്റി. സോ നമ്മൾ അതിനെ സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്യാനായിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളെല്ലാം പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിലും ഞാൻ കണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത് ഒരു സമയത്ത് അത് ബ്ലാങ്ക് പോയിട്ടായിട്ട് അവരതങ്ങ് നിരസിക്കുക എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഇത് നടക്കില്ല.
ഒരു കാര്യം, അതായത് ടെൽ മീ എ കേസ്. നമ്മളിപ്പം ജനറൽ ആയിട്ട് പറയുമ്പോൾ എനിക്ക്
ഓക്കെ റൈറ്റ്. അപ്പം എൻ്റെ പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് തന്നെ എടുക്കാം. മൈ ലീഗൽ എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് അതൊരു കോൺട്രാക്ട്സ് എഗ്രിമെന്റ്സ് ആപ്പാണ്. ഇറ്റ്സ് ഫോർ ദ മാസസ്. അപ്പം അതിനകത്ത് ആൾക്കാരെന്ന് പറയുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് ഹോൾസെയിലേഴ്സ്, റീറ്റെയിലേഴ്സ്, ഇപ്പം വീട്ടിലുള്ളവരാണെങ്കിലും അവർക്ക് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങളാണ്.
കോൺട്രാക്ട്സ് എഗ്രിമെന്റ്.
അതെ, ലീഗൽ എഗ്രിമെന്റ്സ്. അത് കുറച്ചുകൂടി സിംപ്ലിഫൈ ചെയ്ത് കൺവീനിയന്റ് ആയിട്ട് ഓൺലൈനായിട്ട് നമുക്ക് പെട്ടെന്ന് വിതിൻ 2 minutes നമുക്കൊരു കോൺട്രാക്ട് ഉണ്ടാക്കാം. The software helps you to create a contract very easily.
Who are the parties?
It could be anyone. Like suppose like if you are hiring someone for a work, it could be with them. Or if it's something that we are leasing amount to anyone, it could be with them. ഇതിനൊരു എന്താ പറയുക, ഒരു amount ലിമിറ്റ് ഉണ്ട്, അതിൽ കൂടത്തില്ല. അപ്പം അങ്ങനെയാണ് ഇത് പോകുന്നത്. അപ്പം ഇങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് ഞാനിത് കൊണ്ടുവന്നപ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് ചിലവർ അത് കട്ട് ആൻഡ് ഡ്രൈവ് ആയിട്ട് അവരിത് അതിനെ ഒപ്പോസ് ചെയ്തു. അപ്പം ഞാൻ കുറച്ച് പെർപ്ലെക്സ്ഡ് ആയിരുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ പിന്നെ എനിക്ക് മനസ്സിലായി മുന്നോട്ട് അത് അങ്ങനെ ആർഗ്യൂ ചെയ്തിട്ട് കാര്യമില്ല. പിന്നെ അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു ഡൗട്ട് വന്നായിരുന്നു എനിക്ക്, എങ്ങനെയാണ് അത് അങ്ങനെ വരുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് ഡീൽ ചെയ്യുന്നത്? How do I
best thing is you can show some existing or similar kind of products. Like
ഞാനത് പറഞ്ഞു, ഞാൻ ഇൻഷുറൻസിന്റെ കാര്യം തന്നെ പറഞ്ഞു. ഇൻഷുറൻസ് എടുക്കുന്ന എന്തിനാ എല്ലാവരും. അപ്പോൾ അവർ ചിരിച്ചു. അപ്പോൾ അവർക്ക് മനസ്സിലായി യു ആർ വെരി പാഷനേറ്റ് അബൌട്ട് ഇറ്റ്, ദാറ്റ്സ് വൈ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. അപ്പം ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു യെസ്, ഐ എം പാഷനേറ്റ് അബൌട്ട് ഇറ്റ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. പാഷൻ ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ പറ്റത്തില്ല. അപ്പം ഇൻഷുറൻസിന്റെ കാര്യം പറയുമ്പോൾ നമുക്കറിയാം, നമുക്ക് ഇൻഷുറൻസ് എടുക്കുന്നത് നമ്മുടെ ഒരു സെക്യൂരിറ്റിക്ക് വേണ്ടിയാണ്. നമ്മൾ ഇന്ന് നടക്കും അല്ല ഉറപ്പായിട്ടും നടക്കുമെന്ന് വിചാരിച്ചിട്ടല്ല. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മളിന്ന് ഇതും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഒരു കാര്യത്തിന് വേണ്ടിയാണ്. നമുക്ക് ഒരു ഇൻഫ്രിഞ്ച്മെന്റ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു പ്രോബ്ലം അറൈസ് ചെയ്യും എന്ന് നമ്മൾക്ക് ഉറപ്പില്ല. പക്ഷെ എന്നാലും നമ്മളെ സെക്യൂർ ആക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയാണ് നമ്മളൊരു കോൺട്രാക്റ്റും ഒരു അഗ്രിമെന്റും വെക്കുന്നത്. ഇൻ കേസ്
ഒരു ആസ്പെക്ട് ഞാൻ പറയുന്നത്, there are products like this. ഇപ്പം നമ്മൾക്ക് ഓൺലൈൻ ഡിജിറ്റൽ സൈനിങ് ഓഫ് അഗ്രിമെന്റ്സ് എല്ലാം ഓൾറെഡി ഉണ്ടല്ലോ.
അതെ,
there are some products similar to this. But only thing is, how will you enforce it in a situation like India? India already very lax എന്താ പറയാ, വളരെ മോശമായ ഒരു ലീഗൽ എൻഫോഴ്സ്മെന്റ് ആണുള്ളത്. അപ്പൊ അങ്ങനെയുള്ള ഒരു സിറ്റുവേഷനിൽ മേ ബി ദേ ഫീൽ ദാറ്റ് ദിസ് ഇസ് നോട്ട് വെരി practical, exactly. I didn't want to say that.
I know, it's okay. കാരണം പല പിക്ചേഴ്സ് പല ഐഡിയാസും പല കമ്പനീസും ഇപ്പം വന്നിരിക്കുന്നത് ആ ഒരു ട്രാക്കിൽ കൂടെ തന്നെയാണ്. ആദ്യം ഇൻവെസ്റ്റേഴ്സിന് പിച്ച് ചെയ്തപ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് അവർക്ക് അത് വിശ്വാസം വന്നില്ല, അത് പോരാ. പക്ഷെ നമ്മളിത് പ്രൂവ് ചെയ്ത് കാണിക്കുമ്പോഴാണ് അതങ്ങനെ വരുന്നത്. അപ്പം ഇങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു സിറ്റുവേഷൻ വരുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നു ഞങ്ങൾ ഒരു ഫീച്ചറും കൂടെ ആഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ഇപ്പോൾ ലോയേഴ്സിനെയും കൂടെ അതിനകത്ത് ആഡ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യം. അപ്പം അവരാകുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് കുറച്ചുകൂടെ ആൾക്കാർക്ക് വിശ്വാസം വരും, കാരണം അവർ ത്രൂ പോകുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക്.
Of course, lawyers are good. What I'm saying is you should look at some models in other countries where this is digitally enforceable. രാജ്യങ്ങളിൽ ഇതെങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യുന്നു എന്നുള്ളത് നോക്കുക.
ഇപ്പം ഇന്ത്യയിൽ തന്നെ ഡിജിറ്റലി എൻഫോഴ്സിബിൾ ആണ്, പക്ഷെ അതാരും അങ്ങനെ ആർക്കും അത് അറിയത്തില്ല. ഞാൻ വെളിയിലത്തെ ഒരു രാജ്യത്ത് ഒരു കമ്പനിയായിട്ട് ഞാൻ സംസാരിച്ചിരുന്നു. അവരെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ദേ ഹാവ് ഡിഫറെൻറ്റ് ആക്ച്വലി ഫോമാറ്റ് ഇതിനു വേണ്ടി തന്നെ. അവർക്ക് ടെക്നോളജി തന്നെയുണ്ട്, അതിനിപ്പോൾ പറയുന്നില്ല. അപ്പം ഞാൻ ചിന്തിക്കുക ചെയ്തു അവരുടെ ടെക്നോളജിയും കൂടെ ആയിട്ട് പാർട്ട്ണർ ചെയ്തിട്ട് ഇന്ത്യയിൽ അത് കൊണ്ടുവരാനായിട്ട് നോക്കാനായിട്ടുള്ള ചാൻസ് ഉണ്ട്.
Depth കുറവാണെന്നാണ് എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നത്. I will not spend too much time on this. We can discuss it offline also.
Sure.
My first the thing is, this is currently not very practical in India.
Okay.
Unless you build some depth
and show it to them and prove it to them.
And show it to them in terms of collateral, whether you can build some collateral. Like for example, if you infringe on this contract, can you extract money from them or extract something from the parties? അതൊക്കെ എങ്ങനെ എൻഫോഴ്സ് ചെയ്യും? അതൊക്കെ ഓഫ്ലൈൻ ആയിട്ടൊക്കെ കുറച്ച് ചെയ്യേണ്ടി വരും. ഓഫ്ലൈൻ ഓൺലൈൻ മിക്സിൽ ഹൗ യു ക്യാൻ എൻഫോഴ്സ് ദിസ് കോൺട്രാക്ട്, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ദ കീ. അത് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുമെങ്കിൽ മാത്രമേ ഐ തിങ്ക് പീപ്പിൾ വിൽ ബി ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റഡ് എന്നാണ് എൻ്റെ ഒരു ഫസ്റ്റ് ഇംപ്രഷൻ. പ്രോബ്ലി യു ക്യാൻ ഡിസ്കസ് ഇറ്റ്.
Yeah, sure. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so sorry. So I think I will quickly show my presentation. Okay, so ഇത് ഞാനിപ്പം I will try to map it with whatever ഇപ്പം ഞാൻ പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്ത കാര്യങ്ങളുമായിട്ട് ഞാൻ മാപ്പ് ചെയ്യാം. അതായത് ഈ ഫസ്റ്റ് സ്ലൈഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് I talked about that 140 character pitch, right? The pitch deck. Pitch deck ആയിട്ട് കണക്ട് ചെയ്യാം. ഇതിപ്പോൾ 140 characters അല്ല, but still this is something of that high concept pitch. Okay. Second is a customer need. So some of them I have skipped. Another initial skip. But customer need is a major focus for me because we are into B2B, SaaS model. So customers use cases are the most important aspects. It's not B2C. But customer need in our solution. So I'm mapping my need. The customer need with our solution for each sector. So we have multiple use cases, multiple products. So our confusion account, like someone asked me a question. Similar, a little bit of confusion is there in terms of which is my low-hanging fruit, which is the top of the mind, solution which we should offer. But we are getting no clarity. So total addressable market, this is what I talked about. അപ്പോൾ അതെങ്ങനെ കണ്ടുപിടിക്കുന്നത് ചോദിച്ചല്ലോ. അപ്പോൾ അതിന് ഓരോ ഇതിൻ്റെ നമ്മൾ മാർക്കറ്റ് ഡേറ്റ എടുക്കണം. ഇപ്പോൾ മാനുഫാക്ചറിങ് കമ്പനീസ് എത്ര ഉണ്ട്, മോട്ടോർ വെഹിക്കിൾസ് എത്ര ഉണ്ട്, ബ്ലൂ കോളർ അല്ല ടാക്സി എഗ്രിഗേറ്റേഴ്സ്, ഇതൊക്കെ ഇറ്റ്സ് ഓൾ അവൈലബിൾ ഇൻ ഇന്റർനെറ്റ്. യു ഹാവ് ടു കളക്ട് ദ ഡേറ്റ, യു ഹാവ് ടു ഷോ ദ ടൈം. ഓക്കെ, ഇനി ടൈംസ് ആൻഡ് സോ ഓൺ. ഇതൊന്നും പെർഫെക്റ്റ് ആയിരിക്കില്ല, ബട്ട് അറ്റ്ലീസ്റ്റ് വി ക്യാൻ ഷോ സം നമ്പേഴ്സ് ഇൻ ടേംസ് ഓഫ് how it is mapped in terms of terms and so on. Okay. Combination metrics. This is very important. ഞാനിപ്പോൾ എല്ലാ യൂസ് കേസും ഞാൻ കാണിച്ചിട്ടില്ല. ഐ എം ഓൺലി ഷോയിങ് അവർ മാനുഫാക്ചറിങ് യൂസ് കേസ്. സോ അതിൻ്റെ അകത്തുള്ള കോമ്പറ്റീറ്റേഴ്സുമായിട്ട് ഹൗ ഡു വി കമ്പയർ, വെദർ വി ഹാവ് മോർ ഫീച്ചേഴ്സ്, വെദർ ടോട്ടൽ കോസ്റ്റ് ഓഫ് ഓണർഷിപ്പ് TCO, വെദർ വി ആർ ബെറ്റർ ഇൻ TCO, വെദർ വി ഹാവ് സം ബെറ്റർ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോം, ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഇതിൽ പറയാം. കോസ്റ്റ്, ഫീച്ചേഴ്സ്, ടെക്നോളജി, ഇന്നോവേഷൻ, ഇതെല്ലാം നമുക്ക് ഇതിൻ്റെ അകത്ത് പറയാൻ പറ്റും. ബിസിനസ് മോഡൽ, അഗെയിൻ ദിസ് ഇസ് റിലേറ്റഡ് ടു ദ മാർക്കറ്റിംഗ് ആസ്പെക്ട്. അപ്പോൾ ബിസിനസ് മോഡൽ, റവന്യൂ മോഡലും ഒക്കെ അതിൻ്റെ അകത്ത് വരുന്നതാണ്. അപ്പോൾ മാർക്കറ്റിംഗ് എന്നുള്ളതിനെ കുറച്ചും കൂടി A GTM partner, we have split it into business model for each use case and the revenue model. Revenue model, it is B2B SaaS. The only thing is, if you have multiple revenue streams, like B2B SaaS, like for example, you have annuity model, you have a per user or per seat based license, you have freemium model, all this. So you have to be very, very careful in terms of what are your revenue streams. Because അതിനെ ബേസ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ മുമ്പോട്ട് പോകുന്നത്. അപ്പം റവന്യൂ സ്ട്രീം അല്ലെങ്കിൽ റവന്യൂ മോഡൽ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് വളരെ കെയർഫുൾ ആയിട്ട് ചെയ്യേണ്ട ഒരു കാര്യം. പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് ഇന്നോവേഷൻ, അത് ഇതാണ് നമ്മളുടെ സൊല്യൂഷൻ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് ആണ്. ഇതിനകത്ത് യൂട്യൂബ് വീഡിയോ എല്ലാം ഉണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ യു ക്യാൻ ഓൾവേസ് ഷോ ദാറ്റ്. And we are talking about some patenting and all that devices. So here I have added more slides. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത് ഒരു slide ആയാലും മതി solution അല്ലെങ്കിൽ product കുറിച്ച്. But here I have more slides because I am talking about architecture, etc. Sensor devices also. This is something ഞാൻ ആ മിഷന്റെ കേസിൽ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നത്. That is, you can have a page about us also. So if you have some accomplishments, etc., then you can show it here. Otherwise, talk about the mission. Leadership team. So idana team ne kurichu nammal cheyirikkunnu. You can have a similar model. You can have a thing. You can have a slide on the team, on the leadership team, as well as your rest of the team, like developers. All those things also can be added. ഇതാണ് ഫിനാൻഷ്യൽ മോഡൽ. സോ ഫിനാൻഷ്യൽ മോഡലിൽ യൂണിറ്റ് ഇക്കണോമിക്സിനെ കുറിച്ച് നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നുണ്ട്. അതായത് വാട്ട് ഈസ് മൈ യൂണിറ്റ് പ്രൈസ്, വാട്ട് ഈസ് ദ കോസ്റ്റ്, ഹൗ മച്ച് ഇസ് ദ സെയിൽസ്, ആൻഡ് വാട്ട് ഈസ് ദ കോസ്റ്റ്, വാട്ട് ഈസ് മൈ പേറോൾ എക്സ്പെൻസസ്, what is the net worth. This is very important from a valuation perspective. So if you want to dilute your equity, then you need to have an idea about the net worth of the company. Let's say you are saying 10 crores is my valuation. Of course, initial stage it may not be 10 crores. Generally, in a seed fund stage, it will be around 3 or 2.53 crores. Our stage, like 3.5 crores. Our range, but I'm just saying, if you want to show your valuation, initially you will have to provide data like this. And second stage, you may have to do a valuation with a registered valuer, which again takes something similar. And what is that? Return on ROI and all that calculations can be done. So what I'm saying is, you need to have a financial model data with you. You can show the graph also, but data is required for multiple things. One is your unit economics. Second, your burn rate, because we are talking about burn rate to the investors. Like, if you fund me, this is my burn rate for the next 12 months. So burn rate requires financial data. And your valuation also requires financial data. There are any questions on that? Any other questions?
Sunil, this is Anil here.
Yes. Tell me.
With your permission, can I share my deck so that they get a little bit of idea of my pitch deck as well?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, if not an issue.
Yeah. The thing is, we will have to do it quickly.
Yeah, I will just run through it just to give a quick view. So I think whatever you have said, it's available there. So sort of going to give them a different perspective as well. Right. So this is to everyone. My name is Anil, right? And I'm a co-founder of Splendray. And this is our pitch deck. What we're trying to do is build a hyper-local and customer engagement for small and medium merchants, retailers, in a very affordable fashion, right? So this is our pitch, and our problem statement is this. What we're trying to do, typically we have a challenge in terms of small and medium retailers. Advertising is a big challenge. It's unaffordable. Campaigning is not possible, and ROI measurement is not there. And that's where the problem that we're talking about. And for this problem, These are solution. What we're trying to do is we're building a web platform. Sorry, we are building a web platform by which the retailers can engage with their customers, existing and new customers. We help them to connect with their existing customers, and we also connect with them the ecosystem. They can publish into our multimedia and all the other medias, and at the same time they can retarget, right, by engaging in the customers. And to validate that, what we have found is two Indian players who have been prominent. One is Nearby, which is a Groupon-based company, which was in Groupon is famous in US. They started in India. We validated to see how the retailers' behavior is, and we found that about 50,000 Indian merchants, retailers are already there in Nearby. And similarly, in Google My Business, which is again a My Business page under Google, and about 35% of the Indian retailers are already available as a listing page in Google. So that gave us a confidence that having a customer engagement store page will be ideal for small and medium retailers. So if you look at the entire market, we are talking about 24+ trillion market globally. And for India, we are talking about 14 million retailers with a 600 billion revenue. And this only for an unorganized sector. And organized sector, if we add through, the TAM and the SOM is going to be much more larger than that. This is what we're trying to achieve in a 3-year period. We're trying to touch the lives of about 10 million users through our customer engagement platform called Lukodu by serving about 15,000 merchants in a 3-year period by delivering 1.5 billion engagements. And that's what we are driving towards. The product, Lukodu, basically the retailers, there are multiple events in the retailers can engage with. A retailer gets a store page, and the store page has got multiple events. And the customer engages using the store page, and he can retarget it. They can also engage with promoted engagements where we have partnered with media agencies and social media influencers with a monetization policy which gets them continued revenue from a media partner perspective. So anybody who wants to get more engagements can use those promoted engagements. This is our product. We have every store would get a store page. For a consumer, they can get into our homepage, which can be searched through location tags. And influencers has got an influencer page also within Lukodu, look for offers and deals around you. And they can look for offers. And this is a platform by which multiple engagements is possible. Just to show a traction by a small retailer, it's a retailer of about 100 square feet store. We have been able to give about 200+ engagements per day, with about more than 2,000 engagements on a frequent basis. We have launched this in March, and we have seen a traction of about 60+ retailers at this point in time, with about 10,000 users already logged in in 30 days period, with about 80,000+ engagements, which we have derived from March 1st to March 10th. We are in a pre-sale stage. If you look at our business model, what we are saying is about 4,500 is the charge, that is the money that we'll charge from a retailer for about 15,000 engagements at the price of 30 paise, which will generate about 81 crores in a 3-year period, by which the ARR of about 32 crores. In terms of market adoption, we are partnering with the social media influencers. We have got a relationship with mass media partnership, and we are also integrating with online ads. And that has helped us, our customer acquisition, to be completely zero. In our case, the customer acquisition cost has been zero. Competition, if you look at Nearby, Google, they provide listing and benefits. In our case, it's more experiential, engagement driven, and we find ourselves in a different league altogether. This is the team. Myself, one of the co-founder with the responsibility of fundraising. Axel is the CEO, and Nikon is my Chief Technology Officer. We are backed by mentor Shilan Sagunan, who is an ex-CEO of Arbitron, which was sold to Nielsen. And PK Sam is a financial advisor, Naveen, Tarun, Amla, and rest of the development team. About 10 people is a core team that we have. Our strategic relationship is with, we are incubated in live. We are DIP approved. We are a startup supported with Kerala Startup Mission. We have got technology partnership with Google and Amazon, and we are a member of NASCOM as well. Customer testimonials, we have very good successful customers as of now on the platform. And what we are looking for is about a 1.5 crore seed fund, which will help us for about 18 months of runway. And we would like to use the funds to capture a market which is about largest chunk of the money. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Anil. I think you have a very interesting, deck. Especially your data, is good and nice to have.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so any other questions, or we can?
I will stop this there.
Over time. So, any questions on this or on Anil's, deck?
Sunil, Manoj here.
Tell me.
No. I just wanted to just say about a couple of things which I have come through. I think it is related to what Bibin was asking and all. From what I have heard from people like Rajan Anandan or Indian Angel Network, that Lakshmi Ruparel and all, they say a couple of important things about the pitch decks. Like theoretically, I think most of them say that they fund even concepts or ideas. But then for that to get funded, the team is the critical thing there when it is concept. Team means they look at some 100x entrepreneur who has already done a few exits in the team. Like say maybe a Chris Gopalakrishnan or somebody like that needs to be there if it is concept level. Otherwise, definitely they are looking at traction.
I understand where you're going, but see those are all exceptional cases.
Exceptional, exactly. So they all say that they do fund it from concepts, ideas, and all they fund. But this is the catch there. The catch is this.
Correct. Yeah, there are serial entrepreneurs who have sold their first startup, then started the next one, and they get huge funding right away, even without a product, with some concept.
Exactly.
So those cases are not the rule; they are exceptions.
Exceptions, and there the critical thing is this thing. Somebody like that top name should be there in the team. Backed by,
even that is a strategy. Like if you can bring some good people to your startup from the beginning,
yes,
then you can shortcut many of these stages.
Exactly.
Go directly to Series A or Series B.
Otherwise, it is all about how much customer traction we have.
So for rest of us, people who are ordinary, founders or people in this group.
Exactly.
So my pitch was primarily focused on people who are the current situation in the group. I don't want to go into the hypothetical situation.
Okay.
Another one more point that I would like to share here is there is a site called YNOS, YNOS. It is from IIT Madras. The professors and chairman and the team has developed it. We had a presentation yesterday from YNOS team exclusively for IMK Live incubatees. And for startups like us, that platform I felt is very, very, very beautiful. But there is a cost to it. But I think, if you get an opportunity, everybody please go into YNOS. YNOS, it's an opposite of Sony. I asked a question, what is the full form of YNOS? So they said, and it is completely driven by IIT Madras, alumni and academicians. So it's a reverse of Sony, and they felt Sony was a high quality, a high, sort of a company, and they thought, it's good to have an acronym. Pasha, it's a very beautiful stuff. Now, what the philosophy of Tilai Rajan, which he said, who is the co-founder, who is the professor and co-founder of YNOS, he said, as a startup for us, when we pitch to venture capitalists or institutions like IA and others, they come, the mindset of the investors are to pick the best which will get them 10x, 20x, 30x return. So they do a comparison, right? In that YNOS, what it provides is it provides about 4,931 investors. It has more than 300 incubators. So you as a startup can go search, map, find out who is the best investor for you. So there is a way of making a matchmaking. It also provides all the investors there. It also provides the investors second level, third level investments they have made. So you can do a comparison of a peer company and see if your peer company who was investors invested there. A lot of beautiful mechanisms to handshake, search, find of incubators, find out your peer competition, all that. Once I get little bit of clarity onto it, probably I can do a demo, or we can arrange for a demo with IITM guys. But I think all of you who are really interested to do a fundraising, also to know about your peers, Vinos is a good stuff. I'll share the link onto our group. I felt it's very interesting for us from a startup mindset perspective.
Yeah, thanks, Anil. Yeah, just one word of caution. That is all, at least as far as I know, all these investor community are connected. So you should be little careful in terms of overexposing yourself as a startup. So if you go to many of these things and you fail to make a grade, then sometimes this word will spread. So I'm not saying it pessimistically, but be little careful unless you are somewhat prepared for the grind. Don't go into a very large community and expose yourself. That is something I would just caution the group.
Very true. But in Vinos, you can do your search before even putting there. So you can, it's a lot of learning that we can do it. Who is my peer? Who are the type of investors investing in our industry? All those type of thing is possible. I raised a couple of questions because our industry, you don't find very frequent investors in our industry. So, I asked a couple of questions and he answered it very well and he ran through it. So I felt, it's very interesting for us. It will be very good for us.
Yeah, definitely. So any other questions? I think we can close now.
More than a question, I have a request. Probably we should follow up with another session on how or that investment pitch journey. Like now we have a pitch deck, so there would have been people here who have experience pitching to people. How did they find those investors? How did they connect? Probably that will be one exercise that will be helpful for most of the members here who are yet to make their first pitch presentation. So I think that would be a request.
Yeah, I think somebody like Anil or whoever is already experienced in doing this can do another round with a different perspective, because whatever I say would be subjective, which is my experience. So like if you get 3-4 different perspectives, that would be actually good for the rest of the community.
We can plan, Jitu.
Yeah, looking forward.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. So if there are no more questions, we can close. Arjun, you had some question. Did I answer that, or are you still there?
Yes, I am pretty clear. I have a small doubt. I mean, is it would be okay? I mean, looking at the financial slide, people may actually feel like we are actually boasting data. So would it be fine?
We are actually boasting.
Hyping the data. Yeah. Right. I mean, about
it is, see, there are two aspects. One is you have revenue, then you may not be boasting much. Like, you have to show whatever is actual. But when you are doing a projection, then obviously it is a projection. It can be accurate, it can be inaccurate, but it is your projection. It is your subjective view. But of course, don't say that, we'll be $1 million revenue in 6 months and all that, which may not work out, which may be quite, visible or, obvious to the investors, but there can be some hype in your financial plan. That is okay.
All right, that is clear. I have one more doubt. Should our financials be taken from a certified CA person?
Your financial
valuation. I mean, is the valuation required in an initial phase? What is your suggestion about this?
That depends. Yeah. See, in some of the seed funding institutions, they may not ask for a registered valuer's valuation. Registered valuer came only last year. Because previously, there was no registered valuer. Any chartered accountant can offer valuation. But now there is a separate role called registered valuer, who is registered in Ministry of Corporate Affairs, MCA. So only they can provide a valuation certificate. CA can also provide, but that is not the right valuation certificate. It has to come from the registered valuer. Now, Some companies, like a little more sophisticated investor, might ask you for a registered valuation certificate. In that case, you have to provide it. I have provided it in the last investment.
Okay.
Because
And during your pitches, whether you were asked for valuator certification?
I was asked for a valuation certificate.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Ajin,
Yeah,
the other point that I want to bring is in this Vinos. So what's unique about Vinos is they provide an valuation to all the startups. Now I'll tell you, DCF is the common practice, but for DCF, for a young startup who doesn't have any revenues, we are just in the start, it's very difficult to do a discount and cash flow, right? It doesn't work. So what they do is that's where they compare the peer like software. So it's a completely AI driven. So in that platform, that was very good. My question was there, how do we look at evaluation, right? So what Vinos provides is they do a comparative study of your startup with the likes in the platform, because they have that many startups in the platform, and through AI they look at the credibility and they come back with a valuation, and they say that you don't have to share a business plan, but tell that this is the valuation that is given from Vinos. It's acceptable because that level of intelligence have been put there, and they do comparison of a
that's incredible.
That's incredible. It's fantastic, and I think that's where we should have to go and get a demo of Vinos. I'll try to arrange for that.
Okay. What would be the piece of that, Anil? I mean,
I'll tell you. They typically charge 20,000 per startup, right? That's what they say. But for Alive, it's free because Live is sponsoring us. But we can look at negotiating for us, because they are doing a session for Malabar Angel Network, right? Kannur.
Okay.
Right. I had a call with PKG in the morning today, but we can try it for a KSN session with them. That's possible. Okay. We can do that.
Yeah, we can try it.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, then.
Sunil sir.
Yes.
Jayant here. I have a doubt. Sir, when we are presenting before the investors, whether they will ask for a detailed explanation or something like that.
Like what?
Whenever we present our projections, what is your assumption, how it will get. So whether we have to prepare much more PPTs or facts to justify that figures or anything else. So pitch deck means so much PPTs or so much PPTs along with the supporting PPTs, maybe 80 or 100 in.
You need some background data. Of course, you have to do your homework and you have to prepare your background data, and based on which you prepare your pitch deck. So pitch deck is your face. It is what you are going to present to the investors. Now, if they are asking some questions, you can go back to your original data, your raw data to some extent. But you can always say that, no, I can come back to you. See, there is nothing wrong in saying that right now I don't have the information. I can come back to you with the details. So that is fine. I don't think anybody is going to ask you are you having all this data in your thing? So certain data may not be there. So that is okay. So generally what I'm saying is you need to have some data. That is why I said two things. One is your financial data. Whether you do a projection or your actuals, you should have it in some shape. Maybe not perfect, but some shape should be there. And the second thing is your business model, etc. You should have some idea in terms of who are your customers, who are your partners, what is your channel, what is your revenue model, what is your business model, etc. So that is your background data. So two things I talked about. One is in terms of business model canvas and financial projection or financial model. These are things which are required for the people who are in the MVP stage. Who are already generating revenue, then financial model is required. Business model again is required, but not that much. BMC is not required much for a revenue generating startup.
Okay.
Dr. Jayan, the other point is when they are asking for it, if you're not confident in numbers, that instantly gives that you have not done your homework. So it's always better to have all your numbers in a place, in a plan. you should have your business plan. You know, how are you going to generate month on month, year on year? What is the team that you're going to be in year 1, year 2, year 3? Some ballpark numbers you should be very clear in your fingertips, because like Sunil said, they might ask questions. Certain questions which is tough, you can ask for a time, but certain things, basics, if you don't answer, it gives a feeling that you are not deep into it. So like Sunil said, you have to breathe in your startup, right? You need to you need to take a bath in your startup. So some numbers should be there in your fingertips. That gives a confidence that you have done your homework well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
One more question. One of my friend said, initially make 100 slides, then you bring it to 40, then bring it to 10. Is it right way?
No, I didn't understand your question. What is that?
Initially, you shape all your stories in 100 slides, then bring it to 40, then bring it to 10.
Yeah, you can do it both ways. Maybe you start with the Twitter pitch also, then you increase it to 15 slides. Or you can do the other way. You have a lot of data, then you distill it or filter it to 15 slides or 20 slides. So general thing is like, 15 slides is a standard for pitch deck. Don't have like 30, 40 slides, because nobody is going to read all those things. Even if they read it, you are exposing too much. See, two things. You want to expose only the right kind of data. Don't talk too much about your startup and all that, and expose your own gaps and weaknesses and all that. So don't do that. So only tell them what is required to be told. Don't tell everything. So maybe 15 slides is good enough for that. So the rest of the things you keep it as your backup slide, or don't add it to the pitch deck. Keep it in a separate thing. There are so many things here. Like for example, you have solutions. After you have discussed your pitch deck, you may have to send them some solutions. For example, some of the companies, they are looking for some fit with their company. At least I know that. Can you execute a project for the investor company? That is also one model. Like a lot of companies are investing, like Bosch or Shell or so many, IBM, Microsoft, Amazon. All these companies are investing or creating an ecosystem where the startup companies can become part of their, their own network or their ecosystem. So what they want is they have to execute projects for their business units internally. So they are looking for a fit with their requirements. Like they have some problem statements, and they are giving it to the startups, and they are asking them, can you fit with this? So you may have to share a solution deck with them. So it is not enough that you do a pitching with them. The next stage is your solution, then your due diligence, then all these, we talked about legal due diligence, process due diligence, then valuation, all this will come. GDPR, if you are doing with a European company, then you have to do GDPR, then your licensing, legal aspects. So many things are there. So I just talked about your pitching. There are things, the next level and the third level and all that. So only then you will get an investment, at least coming from a large corporate. If it is a pure investor like VC or angel or all that, then it will be a little more simple for a seed funding round. But if you are going for a next round, then you have to show revenue, your top line, bottom line, your balance sheet, your contracts with other companies, your NDAs, all those. There are lots of things we have to do. So this is only the start.
Sir, Swali here.
Okay. Dr. Jain?
Yes.
Yeah, 1 minute, Swali. So my 2 cents is, we will have to have multiple different kinds of pitch deck depending upon our audience. That's first point. So, you're short and crisp to incite your interest, right? So that could be about 10 to 12 slides. But then what happens is, if let's say if some investors have seen your interest, and if you feel that next discussion, so you might have to detail it out. So for depending upon what type of audience is that, what type of investor is there, you will have to share multiple different types of pitch decks. So one, you can have a master which you're talking about 100 slides, that's fair enough. But depending upon who is your audience, what is the target of your investors and their interest, depending upon that, you might have to detail it a little further down, right? Certain investors would be more technical investors. There you need to have more detail in terms of architecture, your solution, how are you going to do it and stuff and so on. Some people don't like it because some people are not interested in that. Some people are looking at more of a business. And that taste you will know when you start interacting with those investors, and they will seek those type of clarifications, more detailing, right? So it's not that one pitch will service all. You might have a 10 to 12 page deck which is very short and crisp and sweet, which will create an anxiety among them, so that you start a dialogue, but then you keep on changing it depending on who the investors are. Institutional investors different. Corporate investors are different kind, like what Sunil is talking about. So everybody has got different interest out of you.
Yeah.
You might have
So,
to make a change.
again, I want to emphasize on this. That is, the pitch deck is only your introduction to the investment.
Yes, very true.
So there are lots of things to do after that.
Yes.
Every significant investment will be around 6 months of due diligence, 4 to 6 months of due diligence. So it will involve your legal, you have to give them your MOA, AOA, even your minutes of meetings, your directors, even they may ask for your financial position and your credit score and all that. That all depends on your the kind of people you are dealing with. So they will actually do your, they will go through your history, your financial history, your personal history, even your social media, everything. So
yes,
this is only your initial kind of handshake or your handshake with the investors to create an interest. Then the real negotiations and discussions will start. And every bigger round will have a more detailed. Their lawyers will come and sit with you, and they will ask for all those things. Where is the physical copy of this? When did you file in MCA? Your GST, all those things. They can go through anything. Your bank statements, your credit history, everything with a fine comb. So it is not that simple. Let me just put it straight to you. Investment is not that simple, but not to discourage anybody, but your investment or pitch deck is your passport to get there.
Agree, very true.
So, Swali here. So I had one doubt. Like, if you're presenting a pitch deck, considering this problem solution slide, what if I narrate a story? Is it a professional way, like if you're presenting before an investor?
You narrate a story? Sorry.
Yeah, like I present my problem solution by narrating a story, like considering this man has some problems and this is the right solution. So is it a professional way to present it like that?
This man means your customer. You can take a customer. You can take your sample customer. That is a good way of doing it. So, for example, you go and tell them that my customer had this problem, and this is how I solved it, and this is the net. This is a testimonial. This is the feedback I got. That is a great way of selling your proposal, because then you have some validation, right? Especially if your customer is a slightly known customer. If you say that I went to one individual and you create a story around it saying that this person liked it, that may not make much difference. But especially if you are going to a B2B kind of, if you are in a B2B kind of situation and you go to a good corporate, let's say you go to Reliance or you go to one of the bigger MNCs, and you did a pilot there, and they had this problem and you solved it, and this is the net outcome. Then that is a great validation of your product.
I have one more doubt. When shall we start pitching sessions? I mean, during our journey, shall we start it only after having some customers or having some particular amount of revenue? Is it there something like that?
You are in B2B, right, Ajin?
Yes, yes.
So you can start whenever you have an NDP. So see, getting customers, yeah, you can have some non-paying customers. You can do some pilots for somebody. You create a storefront, put some people there, but they may not really be your sticky customers. Like, they may take a freemium license. They may do you may do a free licensing with them. Then you can do a pitching saying that I have 10 people on my storefront and they are using it for the last 3 months. And this is their feedback. Whether they are paying or not is secondary.
That is fine too. Okay. Thank you.
Ajin, my question to you is, why are you pitching? You want money. So
Yes.
when you want money is the point, right? It's not when you're pitching. So today I want money with whatever I have. How can best I can pitch in front of the investors? That's the point you need to come back with.
Okay.
So
For
it doesn't
primarily
matter.
for survival and to expand.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even without a product, if you are strong enough to convince the person sitting on the other side, you can pitch. So there's no time for pitching, to be honest. It's up to you what you want. So, before an MVP, you can pitch. While you're thinking idea stage, you can pitch. Even after revenue, you can pitch. It all depends upon how much and when do you need money, right?
Okay.
Depending upon that, you can pitch.
About that, Anil, I have a doubt. I mean,
Yes, please.
as a person, I am satisfied with what I have. There is a case like that. But in order to grow, we need more money. And what is your recommendation on that? I mean, would you go after more and more, and would you stay there as you are?
No, but the point here is that you think what you're thinking, what you're getting is how long it will take you and where your startup is going to do it, right? If you are looking at a startup for about 20-30x, right? In that case, what you are getting right now may not be sufficient. So it all depends upon your vision, right? What is your startup leading to? Where do you want to go? Because there are a lot many, Wembu, Zoho didn't ask for any money, right? And they're making good. So it all depends. See, not that everybody has to go for money. So that's a different point. If your startup is surviving, making good money, making 5x, 2x, it's all ambition and what you're as a co-founder or founder is looking at and how big you want to take your product to within your ecosystem.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just add one point there. That is, Zoho is an exception actually in a technology product startup. Zoho is an exception. So, see, Ajin, you have to understand what is a startup. That is what I said in the beginning. See, startup is something which has an innovative idea. It has the right kind of technology, and it has the right capability to scale. Then only you become a startup. Otherwise, you are not a startup. So you need the idea, technology, and scale. Then you are a startup. So now you have all these things. Why do you want to limit your ambition to being?
Yes, that is clear. I mean, that scalability factor always plays. So we must always focus on that.
Yes.
Whether all we can start our video so that we can take a nice photo.
Yeah, no, Ajin, one more point is, funding, when you want to bring an external investor, right, they are looking at a huge scale. Otherwise, it will not come. If your TAM and SOM is not big, they will never be interested in.
Please switch on your camera.
Yeah, my camera is on.
Yes.
Your camera is not on there. Okay. So a point is, Ajin, if you don't want to scale, or if a startup is okay to incubate and get some traction, then we can look at KSM and incubator funds and all, because there you're looking at a grant or something, right? You want to just kick off initially, build that. To build that, you don't need to go for an investor. You can go to KSM and all this type of organizations which has got a lot of funds which are ready to give you. But when you're thinking of getting an external investor is where you have to think that your startup has to create minimum. I was on another investor call last week, and they're talking about minimum 25x. If they don't see 25x, they are not at all interested, because there are not many startups coming into their bucket, right? So that's something that you have to think about it. There are a lot of people who are giving us, 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs. You can build your idea, you can build the product. So that's the point where, whether how do you want to get an investment?
So can we close? I think we have exceeded our time limit significantly.
Very true.
We can have a follow-up discussion maybe sometime later, where we can continue this discussion, because I think everybody has a lot of questions. We may not be able to continue answering this.
Sure.
So next stage we can have all this follow-up discussions. Jayan, do you have a photograph, or you have a photo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anil sir.
Yeah, let's thank Sunil for a wonderful session.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Everybody had a great, participation. So really appreciate. That will actually enthuse all of us to have follow-up sessions. So thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Have a nice weekend.
And Anil sir.
Yes, sir.
The recording need immediately.
Yeah. Okay.
See repeatedly for preparing for the IMK Live.
Very fun. I will share it right away.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.